Good morning. At the outset, let me just state for the record that the Blue Ribbon Committee has not yet terminated the inquiry in aid of legislation on the anomalous flood control projects. No? Be that as it may, I have directed the committee to commence crafting with the crafting of a partial committee report in that regard. However, due to the volume and gravity of complaints regarding the issuance of LOAs and other related issues or activities in the Bureau of Internal Revenue, and in response to the Senate resolutions filed by the Vice Chairman, Senator Erwin Tulfo, and Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, the inquiry is being held today, and the Blue Ribbon Committee is again convened to conduct this inquiry in aid of legislation. So we are honored by the presence of the Acting Secretary of Finance, Frederick Go. Good morning, sir. And two former and one incumbent commissioners of the Bureau of Internal Revenue, namely Attorney Kim Enares, Attorney Romeo Lumagi, and Commissioner Charlie Mendoza. Welcome. The others will be, the presence of the others will be acknowledged by the committee secretary later. Yeah, I'd like to also acknowledge the presence of the Senate President. Good morning, sir. And as I mentioned earlier, the Vice Chairman of the Blue Ribbon Committee, Senator Erwin Tulfo, who authored resolution number 180, actually. And also Senator J.B. Ejercito. Welcome back. JB. You're online.
Online.
JB. How are you?
I'm okay.
Okay na yung platelets mo. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome back, even via Zoom or WebEx. Yeah. So, Attorney Kimbo, kindly. Wala ba si...
Only po sa
only. Okay, please kindly acknowledge the presence of the resource persons.
Good morning, Your Honors. Today, the witnesses present are the following. From the Department of Finance, Secretary Frederick D. Go. From the Bureau of Internal Revenue, Commissioner Carlito Martin Mendoza. Attorney Rufino Cantaros, Head Revenue Executive Assistant. Mr. Luis Sixtus Esquivas, Office of the Commissioner. Then we have Regional Director Renato Molina, Revenue District Officer Trinidad Villamil, Revenue District Officer Renato Mina. We have Revenue District Officer Lorenzo de los Santos. We have Revenue District Officer Yolanda Zafra. We have Revenue District Officer Antonio Mangubat. We have Revenue District Officer Celestino Viernes. We have OIC Chief for Large Taxpayer Audit Division, Miguel Angelo D. Alfaro. OIC Chief, Excise Large Taxpayer Audit Division, Ryan Calvin Morga. We have OIC Assistant Chief, Excise Large Taxpayer, Francis F. Nabua. We have OIC Assistant Chief, Regular LO Audit Division, Pauline Lydia M. Reyes. We also have Mr. Jos Allen Pilapil, Technical Assistance, Office of the Commissioner. From the Chiefs of VAT Transactions, we have Mr. Winston Sabado, Ms. Fe Lucas, Ms. Nina Cristina M. Espiritu. We have Ms. Lilibeth Nazario. We have Mr. Benedict Bacani. We have Ms. Marlene Dumapias. We have Ms. Karen Esperaguera. We also have with us, Your Honors, former Commissioner Romeo Lumagi, and those are the personalities present today. We have invited Ms. Elizabeth Lee from the Chairperson Federation of Philippine Industries. She has confirmed her attendance but is not yet present at the moment.
Please administer the oath to the resource persons.
May we request all invited guests to please stand up and raise the right hand for the oath. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this investigation? Please, I do to affirm your answer. Thank you very much. You may sit down. Your
Thank you.
Honors.
The Senate President the Senate President is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm actually here to listen, so I will be giving way to the author of Resolution 180, Senator Erwin Tulfo, and the author of Resolution 201, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian. So, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The Vice Chairman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Today, this Blue Ribbon Committee convenes to confront a matter that strikes at the very core of public trust and governance. The misuse and abuse of the Bureau of Internal Revenue's letter of authority and mission orders. Instruments that by law should protect the integrity of our tax system, but which have reportedly become tools for harassment, coercion, and worse, extortion. For years, small and big businesses mula po sa maliliit na family convenience store hanggang sa malalaking korporasyon have raised serious concerns recently. Many claim that they were subjected not to fair tax assessment, but to pressure, intimidation, and questionable demands in exchange for the withdrawal or softening of tax investigations. Kahit po ang mga international companies, hindi na ninyo pinatawad, pinatos na ninyo. Itong mga kumpanya na ito na nagdadala ng trabaho, teknolohiya at pamumuhunan sa bansa ay hindi raw nakaligtas sa ganitong uri ng pang-aabuso ayon na rin mismo sa iba't ibang foreign chambers of commerce dito sa ating bansa at mismong ang kanilang mga ambassador. Let me be clear. The purpose of the letter of authority and mission order is to ensure that taxes owed to the government are collected properly, transparently, and lawfully. Hindi ito dapat gamitin bilang sandata ng pananakot o instrumento ng korupsyon. Unfortunately, only 2% of the total tax collected by the BIR from the business sector came from LOAs or mission orders. The 98%, ladies and gentlemen, from voluntary tax payments by the businesses. So ibig sabihin, Mr. Chair, 2% lamang ang pumapasok sa kaban ng bayan sa total tax collection. Yung the rest, 98% voluntary. So where did the rest of the collection go from these instruments? E di po sa bulsa ng mga examiner, RDOs at regional directors. Ganito po yung modus, Mr. Chair. 25% lang ng koleksyon kasi napupunta sa gobyerno yung may resibo. 75% goes straight to their pockets. If these complaints are true, then we are looking at systematic abuse that harms not only individual taxpayers, but also the nation's business climate and international reputation. Kapag nawalan po ng tiwala ang negosyo, lokal man o foreign, nawawala rin po ang trabaho, nawawala ang kita at oportunidad para sa ating mga kababayan. Today, this committee will seek the truth, Mr. Chair. We will examine how LOAs and mission orders have been issued, enforced, and allegedly exploited. We will ask hard questions. We will demand clear answers. And we will hold accountable anyone who has betrayed their sworn duty to serve with integrity. Our goal here is simple: to restore trust, protect our taxpayers, and ensure that public power is never, ever again used for private gain. Maraming salamat po. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman Tulfo. Senator JB, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To our Senate President, of course, our colleague Senator Tulfo, blessed good morning. The very instrument meant to ensure lawful tax compliance is being weaponized for corruption and extortion. Sinimulan po natin buksan ang issue ng pang-aabuso ng ilang kawani ng BIR sa pamamagitan ng issuance ng Letter of Authority o LOA noong Department of Finance BFI para sa 2026 budget. Inulit ko ito sa plenary interpellation ng budget at lumabas na pati pala sa iba pang nating mga kasamahan na senador, marami na rin pong sumbong sa kanila. Lalo na ang mga ambassador at mga miyembro ng American European Chambers ang may umangal na laban sa mga lowa ng BIR at nakakahiya na talaga po tayo. Alam natin na ang mahalagang papel na ginagampanan ng BIR sa pagpopondo ng mga programa ng gobyerno. Ngunit base sa mga impormasyon natin, tila na agrabyado ang gobyerno dahil pinagkakitaan din ang tax collection. May mga lumapit po sa ating tanggapan at may kanya-kanyang sumbong, ngunit ang malinaw ay ito. Mayroong umiiral na mga modo sa BIR na nakumpirma natin dahil sa mga nakuha nating mga impormasyon. Ito pong sumusunod ang Letter of Authority, ang multiple LOAs. Ang una pong modus base sa mga report sa atin ay ang pag-issue ng multiple LOAs within a taxable year or succeeding taxable years. Naranasan daw po ito ng mga taxpayer mula sa Quezon City na Jurisdiction and Revenue Region number 7A kung saan sa loob ng 6 na buwan, 4 LOA ang inisyu sa kanya. Ikinwento na rin po ng isang sender na 4 na beses na siyang nagkaroon ng LOA mula sa BIR Lawag, tig-2 para sa kanilang mini grocery at kainan. Isa lang siyang pangkaraniwang negosyante na nagsusumikap para sa pamilya at sa 3 nilang anak. Utang sa bangko ang kanilang pinambayad sa BIR. Ang isa pa ay bloated or unsupported assessment, Mr. Chair. Bukod po sa multiple LOAs, mayroon din pong lumalabas sa mga report sa atin tungkol sa bloated na halaga ng tax assessment na walang basihan. Ang report po sa atin ay nag-offer, halimbawa ang BIR examiner sa City of Manila, na isettle ang LOA sa halagang 400,000 all-in. Dahil hindi sila pumapayag sa hinihinging lagay, naglabas ang examiner ng assessment na umabot ng 13 milyon o 13 million pesos. At nakakapagtaka raw dito dahil ang gross sales lang ang nagnegosyo ay 12 million pesos. Hindi pa nababawas sa expenses pero mas malaki pa ang assessment kaysa mismong kinita. Wala ring sapat na suporta o basehang dokumento ang pinapakitang computation. Isang negosyante rin, Mr. Chairman, ang nag-report ng kanyang naranasan kung saan ang original assessment amount niya na umabot ng milyon ng halaga ay na-negotiate niya na bumaba hanggang 500 hanggang 800,000 na lamang. Sa halagang ito, 100,000 lamang ang may resibo at ang balanse ay sa bulsa na napupunta. Ang problema raw, taon-taon na siyang may LOA dahil pumapayag siya sa settlement na lamang. Naging cycle na po tuloy ang extortion. Meron po nabanggit kanina rin po ang ating kasama si Senator Tulfo, yung po sa scheme, yung 70-30, minsan po ay 75-25 pa. Nabanggit ko na po sa ilang interview tungkol sa 70-30 na modus kung saan mahigit 70% ng halaga na assessment na binabayar taxpayer ay nabubulsa ng mga taga-BIR at halos 30% na lamang ang may resibo at napupunta sa kaban ng bayan. May report din po sa atin sa negotiation pa lamang ay nakaset na ang compromise amount kung saan 20% to 30% lamang ang para sa gobyerno at ang remaining portion ay paghahatian na ng examiners, supervisors at higher-ups kung gaano kataas umabot ang kickback. Yan po ang dapat nating alamin. Ang isa pa po ay extortion in the guise of compromise. Naranasan na isang korporasyon sa Bulacan ang modus na extortion in the guise of compromise. Sa impormasyon na nakarating sa amin, ang tax examiner ang mismong nag-aalok ng mas mababang halaga para sa 30 milyon na deficiency na inoffer na 1.2 million na lamang at 800,000 for the boys at 400,000 ang nasa resibo. Mas malaki po ang kickback kaysa sa resibo. Sa isang report natin, lantaran na tinatanong isang examiner kung magkano ang budget. Malaki o maliit ang isang negosyo, target ka ng BIR at pareho po mga kwento ng mga business owners na ito. Nagagamit ang LOA sa harassment, coercion at pilit na negosasyon. Ang negotiation ay hindi upang maresolba ang tax deficiency, kundi ito ay upang masigurado ang halaga na mapunta sa kanila. Sa halip na tulungan natin ang ating mga kababayan na lumago ang negosyo, ginigipit pa ang pinagkakakitaan. Takot din po ang ating mga kababayan na magsumbong sa BIR offices dahil sa pangamba na mas lalo sila pag-iinitan at gipitin. Mr. Chairman, sabi nga po nag-email sa akin ng kanyang LOA experience ay dalawang klase daw ang tax natin ayon sa BIR. Ang unang klase, magkano sa BIR at ang pangalawa naman, magkano ang sa amin. Nakakalungkot po na mula sa isang malaking ahensya gaya ng DPWH hanggang sa isang bureau katulad ng BIR, kanya-kanyang scheme, modus at kanya-kanyang scam na ang ating mga kababayan. Nagsimula sa floodgates, ngayon naman po, ay LOA naman po. Mr. Chairman, we have to stop this culture of corruption that is now plaguing this country. Mr. Chair, maasa po ako na magiging ng committee na ito upang matigil na itong ganitong pang-aabuso sa ating mga kababayan. Makikinig po tayo at maghahanap ng mga kasagutan at solusyon. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator JB. Point of clarification lang, are all or some of these narrations in affidavit forms? On
Mr. Chair,
affidavits?
most of them are sa mga emails that were sent to my office. We will be submitting the same to the committee.
Kasi alam niyo naman, you and I know na dalawa yung aspects ng mandate ng Blue Ribbon, di ba? Inquiry in aid of legislation, yung sa accountability of public officers, and investigation. The other aspect could lead us to filing criminal complaints, no? Administrative and criminal complaints against those who may be held accountable for their action. So kaya ako tinanong kung naka-affidavit form or if at all, kung mako-convert natin into affidavit or sworn statements yung mga narrations. Kasi these are damning narrations, di ba? Or experiences.
Yes, we will do our best, Mr. Chair. As you all know, lahat naman ng tao, mostly businesses are afraid. Takot talaga sa BIR. Lahat naman tayo, kahit takot sa BIR eh. So we will do our best that we will be able to submit some in affidavit form, Mr. Chair.
Para magkaroon lang para maging admissible lang.
Same thing with this
some other time. Yes, Vice
representation.
Chairman.
Same thing with this representation, Mr. Chair. We will ask these people because they just sent emails. Some of them are like cooperatives. We will communicate with them to send us affidavits, Mr. Chair. So that
Or we
can-
may invite them, Para dito
I
sila
don't think
mag-testify.
they will be interested in coming over, Mr. Chair. Because sabi nga po ni Senator JB, kinakatakutan po ang BIR. Mas takot pa po ang mga negosyante sa BIR kaysa sa mga NBI, police. Makakita lang po ng BIR, nagsasara na ko agad ng tindahan, ng bahay. How much more pupunta dito face to face, tuturo itong mga ito. So, I don't think, Mr. Chair, they'll probably submit an affidavit, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, for the information of the body, I personally invited Attorney Kim Menares to join us this morning. Wala tayong invitation sa kanya eh. So in-invite ko siya kasi she stayed in the bureau, I think for the longest time, full 6 years under the term of former or the late President Aquino. And I thought na she could help us shed light or even enlighten us. Bigyan tayo ng parang walkthrough do sa process on how laws are issued hanggang sa termination. Paano nagko-conclude? Tapos ano yung pakinabang ng gobyerno out of the laws issued and other issuances like MOs, di ba? Merong mission order and other activities like the formation of task forces. So gusto nating ma-account ano ba yung accomplishment. We don't really care that much kung ilang task force yung kinrate nyo, pero dapat merong output, hindi ba? Natural lamang. So, with that, with your permission, with your indulgence, Mr. Senate President, Senator Tulfo, may well, teka muna. Meron ba kayong opening statement, Secretary Go? Opening remarks?
Your Honor, I may make one?
Yes,
Mr.
yes,
Chair.
please. You recognize, and after you, maybe the incumbent and the two former commissioners. The other will just respond to questions. Thank you. Please proceed, Secretary Go.
Thank you. The Honorable Senate President, the Honorable Chairman, Senator Lacson, the Honorable members of this committee, the Secretariat, my colleagues in public service, fellow Filipinos, good morning. Thank you for inviting us today, the Department of Finance and the Bureau of Internal Revenue. The DOF extends its full support and cooperation in addressing the long-standing concerns of our taxpayers regarding red tape, audits, and alleged weaponization of letters of authority and mission orders. These concerns go to the heart of our mandate to uphold integrity in tax administration and protect the rights of the Filipino taxpayer. Allow me to state at the outset that we welcome this investigation. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has made it unequivocally clear we will not tolerate corruption in government. The state's power to tax must always be exercised with fairness, transparency, and accountability. As such, we are committed to instituting reforms, correcting gaps, and ensuring that our systems are accountable and truly responsive. Consistent with the President's marching order, my first major directive as Secretary of Finance was the temporary suspension of all field audits and related operations effective immediately. This was formalized under RMC number 107/2025. BIR Commissioner Charlie Mendoza and I are fully aligned with the President's goal of cleaning up the system, restoring integrity and public confidence, and implementing reforms. I would like to reiterate, Your Honors, we will not condone any form of harassment, let alone corruption. With the support of our revenue authorities and stakeholders, we are determined to put a definite end to these alleged abuses. The Bureau of Internal Revenue is currently working on several key reforms. I will leave that to the Commissioner to expound on those plans and reforms that we are planning. The DOF remains fully committed to working with the Senate and all our stakeholders to pursue reforms that strengthen governance and deliver a fair, transparent, and predictable tax system. Reforms that will empower the Filipino taxpayer to contribute actively and confidently to the nation's growth. With this, I respectfully submit myself to the committee's questions. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Secretary Go. Commissioner Mendoza.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Honorable Senate President, the Honorable Chairman of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, the members of the committee, my fellow public servants, good morning. We from the BIR appear before you today with openness and humility to respond to and to clarify the issues that brought us here, and to listen, learn, and work with the Senate to strengthen our tax system for the Filipino people. Recent public concerns about the issuance of the audit authority, redundancies, and inconsistent enforcement resulting in growing taxpayer frustration deserve careful and transparent examination. We welcome this scrutiny that requires us to look at the system as a whole. We must recognize that the problems before us are twofold. First, there are issues in enforcement, how BIR's audit authority is exercised on the ground. We acknowledge the need to reduce discretion, strengthen accountability, and ensure consistent implementation across all offices. Enforcement must be firm, predictable, transparent, and anchored in fairness. Second, we must address the clarity of our rules and the strength of our monitoring and oversight. Faithful compliance with audit procedures requires rules that are clear, justified, and free from ambiguity. We must eliminate arbitrariness, remove repetitive or overlapping issuances, and establish near-time monitoring of ongoing audits. These improvements, many of which can be enabled with the help of an integrated digital system, will reinforce the checks and balances between enforcement and oversight. Rebuilding trust requires reform on both fronts, correcting how enforcement is carried out and ensuring that rules and oversight mechanisms are clear, consistent, and transparent. When the system itself demonstrates integrity, voluntary compliance follows, not because of fear of punitive action, but because taxpayers can rely on a process that is fair and predictable. 2 weeks ago, we temporarily suspended the issuance of letters of authority to give us the space to reevaluate and revamp the audit process. We view today's hearing as an accelerator of that work. We recognize that the reforms ahead must be pursued in partnership with the private sector and our stakeholders, the DOF, and critically with Congress, because legislation and internal governance must advance together for reforms to take root. Our goal is simple: a tax system that is fair, transparent, credible, and effective for national growth, implemented with service excellence, rooted in integrity and professionalism. Mr. Chair, honorable members of the committee, we sincerely and respectfully stand ready to work with you towards reforms that will strengthen our tax system and better serve the Filipino people. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Mendoza. Commissioner Lumagi.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, members of the Blue Ribbon Committee. To everyone, good morning. I have no prepared statement, but first, let me recognize that, or let me acknowledge that itong issue po na ito ay talagang malaking bagay. And from the very beginning, when I was appointed in 2022, November, that was the first thing that pinag-isipan po natin na i-address po yan. That's why when I started in 2022, I crafted my approach in BIR into 4 pillars, which are number 1, integrity and professionalism of the institution and its employees. Yan po yung isang pangunahing programa na inilatag po natin. And number 2, of course, in conjunction with the excellent bringing about the integrity and professionalism of the institution, we focused also on the digitalization program of the BIR. That would focus also on the integrity and professionalism as well as give excellent taxpayer service. Kaya naman po dun sa pangatlong programa po na inilatag po namin ay yung pagbibigay ng magandang serbisyo sa ating mga kababayan na nagtatransact sa iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno ng BIR. At pang-apat po, of course, to level the playing field dahil ito pong fearless and aggressive enforcement activities which are meant not just to collect taxes from the big-time tax evaders. Again, ang naging focus po ng mga task force at ng mga ginawa po natin na paghabol sa mga tax evaders ay ito pong mga malalaking mga negosyante na napatunayan po natin na nag-evade ng mga taxes. That's why we went all-out war. We waged all-out war against illicit trades and all these illicit traders. And this is also, again, as I've mentioned, not just to collect taxes from these big-time tax evaders, but also to protect the legitimate taxpayers and legitimate businesses because we want to level the playing field. Gusto po natin na ipakita sa ating mga negosyante na kapag kayo po ay nagnenegosyo ng tapat, ay mas magiging maayos ang pagnenegosyo ninyo at tutulungan ng BIR. Yan po yung naging focus ng stint ko po as BIR commissioner. That's why ang naging resulta naman po kahit paano. Of course, I'm recognizing that there's a big problem that still exists and needs to be addressed. But in that course po, marami po tayong na nakasuhan ng mga big-time tax evaders. Ilang daang milyon po ang mga nakolekta natin from them. And also, in the history po, malaki po yung naging collection. We for the past 20 years, ngayon lang po na-attain noong 2024, na-attain ng BIR ang collection target set by DBCC. At yan po ay resulta ng ating magandang pangongolekta ng buwis. And also, we were likewise recognized by by different several agencies like yung pong civil service na we were given a plaque of recognition for outstanding performance in complaints resolution and compliance in 2024 and 2025. We were also given a plaque of recognition by the Careers Executive Service Board for attaining 100% efficient and effective management of our agency. At yung amin pong resolution rate ng mga complaints, 888, 100% resolution rate. At pinapakita lang po natin na nung panahon po natin ay we take all these complaints seriously and we always act on all these complaints. And all of these complaints, again, as patunay po na inaaksyonan po natin ang naging decisions po at resolutions and formal charges na naitala po nung panahon ko po ay mahigit 132 cases including mga nagsagawa rin po tayo ng mga entrapment, meron po tayong pinakulong ng mga BIR employees. Patunay po na inaaksyonan po natin lahat ng mga willing magsumbong po sa atin ay pinapanagot po natin. So again, with all these, makakaasa po kayo, kaisa niyo po ako nung na i-recognize ito, and I will really do my best and will help this committee shed light on all of these issues, and hopefully this will be solved because it really needs resolving. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kim Inares.
I don't have an opening statement.
Bigyan nyo na kami ng yung sinabi kong walkthrough sa process.
No, I
Paano
want,
ba halimbawang nakakita tayo na target tayo ng isang taxpayer? Wag na muna yung voluntary, ano? Meron tayo targeted. Paano tayo nagsisimula at paano tayo tatapos?
yeah. I just want to make clear, no, the letter of authority is important for enforcement. No? Although 98% of the collection of BIR is voluntary and only 2% is from all these assessment, that letter of authority push behavior of compliance. No? So yun hindi pwedeng mawala yung takot. Kasi marami hong hindi nagbabayad. No? Meron study na we have not collected more than 1 trillion pesos, no, from tax evasion and all those things. No? So the letter of authority is important. I can only discuss the process during my time because they have changed it. through the
Nevertheless,
years.
so we can also compare how it evolved, ano,
Yeah.
over time.
Yeah, during my time, the first thing I did is I removed TVNs. Yung tax
Kapala isa,
verification.
meron kaming glossary of terms na very confusing. NOD, PAN, FAN, FDDA, FLD, so many terms. So baka pwedeng isama
Dati,
nyo na sa enlightenment namin yan.
Before, the BIR investigate using 2 instruments, no? Actually 3. A letter of notice, which is when we compare, di ba, may BOT system tayo. So yung mga taxpayer, binibigay ho yung mga data, so kino-compare namin yung purchases, sales ng bawat taxpayer. Kung may discrepancy, sinusulatan namin, sinasabihan namin sila, no contact audit ito, no? Hindi namin sa pinupuntahan, sinusulatan lang namin na parang may diferensya ho yung nire-report nyo. Pwede ba explain nyo o kaya i-support nyo? So yun ho yung letter notice. Pangalawa, letter of authority. Yan ho yung issue na pinag-uusapan ngayon. No? Yun yung LOA. No? So, yan ho, kung walang LOA, walang letter of authority, hindi ho pwedeng pumunta yung tao ng BIR dun sa taxpayer at hindi niya pwedeng buksan yung mga libro ng taxpayer. So, importante yung letter of authority kasi yan yung, but parang sa police, kung wala kang search warrant, wala kang warrant of arrest, hindi ka pwedeng pumunta dun sa tao. So, kailangan mo ng letter of authority. Yung mission order naman ho, MO, yung initial na MO, usually this is issued because you want to do surveillance. No? So, meron kang suspecha na hindi mo siya i-issue ng resibo, hindi niya nire-report lahat. So, magbibigay ka ngayon ng mission order, pwede mong tayuan sa tabi yung kahera. No? So, bawat transaction, yung BIR naglilista.
So, anong basic difference ng LOA sa commission order?
Yung mission order is gusto mong
Specific.
malaman, yeah, you're physically there looking at the transaction. No? There, when the customer comes in, bale, may kahera, nandito yung BIR na tao. So, namomonitor niya, kung nga gagawin niya ng 3 days, so di makikita niya lahat na 3-day transaction. So, i-compare niya dun sa manire-report. So, kung ni-report niya sa 3-day, kakatayo niya dun, is 100 million yun pumasok. Tapos tinignan niya yung nire-report niya, 10 million lang. Bakit ganyan? No? So,
Sino?
yan yung mission order. Tsaka
Mr. Chairman, sino nag-i-issue ng mission order?
RDO at saka regional director ho ang nag-i-issue ng mission order. Hindi naman ho yan ang commissioner.
Regional. So,
Huh?
hindi commissioner, di ba?
Hindi.
Yung regional or
RDO, Revenue District Officer.
Revenue District.
Tapos may dati may TVN, Tax Verification Notice. Ito ho, ini-issue rin ho dati ng RDO lang, no? So, parang pwede rin itong instrument to audit. So, during my time kasi, meron kaming letter of LAM meron kaming system, kung mag-i-issue ho yung regional director and RDO ng letter of authority, papasok sila ho sa sistema na sasabihin niya mag-i-issue niya sa letter of authority. Tapos from there, yun ho mag-print out nun papel. Yung papel na accountable form. No? At saka yung sistema na yan, i-input mo yan doon kung sino yung examiner na mag-o-audit. Tapos lalagay mo rin doon ano yung resulta ng PAN, Preliminary Assessment Notice. Ano yung resulta ng FAN, Final Assessment Notice. Tapos may kung settlement, ano yung settlement, 0605 yun, no? Yung form ng BIR 0605, that's the payment. So all of that, you will put in that system. So yun ho, yun pag-monitor ho ng national office sa field, sa lahat na nag-i-issue ng letter of authority. Dahil may sistema ng ganon, wala sa TVN, tinanggal ko ho yung TVN para isa na lang letter of authority, no? Para namomonitor ng office ko, no? ng commissioner's office. So yun ho yung proseso ng pag-o-audit. Saka isa rin hong dapat hong monitorin, di ba? Ang problema kasi ngayon, yung LN, yung letter notice na no contact audit, sinabi ho ng Supreme Court na hindi ho pwedeng mag-assess dahil from LN. Kailangan lang letter of authority. Kaya siguro napapansin nyo, sa isang taon, 4 na LOA ang nai-issue. Kasi yung dating LN, ini-issuean nila ng letter of authority. No? So, nagbabat return kayo every quarter. So, 4 na quarter yan. So, letter of authority mo, 4.
Wala bang limitation ang pag-issue ng LOA to a particular individual or entity?
No, during my time, I issued a audit plan, no? And in it, there's a specific provision that said you can only audit a taxpayer 2 consecutive years. Kung kung gusto mo siya i-audit ng 3rd year, kailangan sabihin mo na may fraud. May discrepancy ng malaki, no? Tsaka yung assessment mo malaki. Kasi kung hindi mo malaki, tatanungin ka, bakit yan ang pinili nyo? Ang dami-daming ibang taxpayer. Bakit siya ulit? Ang liit naman yung kinokolekta nyo. So in 2015, I issued an audit program where there's a specific provision that you cannot audit a person 3rd consecutive time, except if you can say there's fraud. Kasi we allow the second.
In 1 year? Oh, let's say in 1 year. How many times can...
There's no limit.
Aloha.
No, kasi ang nangyayari sa kanila ngayon, mag-issue sila ng 1st quarter VAT letter of authority, 2nd quarter letter of authority for VAT, 3rd quarter letter of authority for VAT, fourth quarter VAT letter of authority. Tapos nun, yun mga hindi, tapos may fifth, yung year na yan, all other taxes na letter of authority. So, pag binilang mo yan, 5 na yan. Diba?
In 1 year.
Yeah, pwedeng 5 in 1 year dahil doon sa sistema na yan. Kasi nga sabi ng...
5 in 1 year para sa isang taxpayer
Yeah,
lang.
pwedeng 5 in 1 year the way it is done now.
Diba? Parang feeling haras na yung individual.
Yeah.
O yung...
So, kasi dati, nagle-letter notice lang ho kami na sinasabihan lang namin yung taxpayer. Alam nyo, may ni-report kayong purchase. Pero yung sinabihan nyo na binilahan nyo, hindi naman nagre-report ng sales. So, explain nyo nga bakit ganyan. No contact audit yan. Kaya lang, the Supreme Court said you cannot do that. I think one of the legislative reform that should be done, because we're all pushing toward digitalization, and globally, it is the move is also to non-contact audit. So the
Related question, how is a LOA served at saka where is it served?
it is served in the place of business of the taxpayer.
Not in any other place.
Yeah, not
Eh, yung
in
iba
any-
kasi sa mall eh. Sa mall, sa restaurant. Kung saan magsalubong, doon na lang ini-issue. Pwede ba yun?
Dapat it's in the place,
Dapat in
of,
the place
business,
of business.
where he said his place of business.
So outright, kung sinerve ito sa mall, nakipag-meet sa mall, nakipag-meet sa restaurant, may violation.
Yeah, because that you are supposed to serve
Subject
it
to
in the place
administrative-
of business.
Subject to administrative sanction. Kagad.
It can be, yeah, because you're not serving it properly.
Yeah.
Because if you go to the place of business at wala naman yung boss, pwede mo naman iwan dun sa manager. Diba? So,
But that
yun,
makes it suspicious, ano? Bakit sa mall magkikita?
at saka kung hindi niyo siya makikita sa place of business, paano niyo siya nakita sa mall?
Eh, kung ayaw tanggapin,
Ha?
you're bringing it to the place of business, ayaw tanggapin.
Then you do an affidavit that I served it and they did not want to accept it. So there's deemed service. You know, there's a way. Pero yung sa
Segue lang
mall,
sandali kay Commissioner Lumagi. Mali pala yung nagawa niyo, dito niyo naserbihan si Diskaya ng LOA.
But, Mr. Chair, first of all, kung pwede lang po i-clarify lang po yung na-mention kanina na 4 na LOA per quarter, valid for a year. Hindi po ganun ang ginagawa. 2 lang po ang maximum for VAT because ang batas namin semestral po. So, a maximum of 2. And then for large taxpayers, 1 lang po yan sa 1 taon ang VAT audit. So, wala pong 4 po ang VAT na LOAs na nangyayari po.
So
Mr.
yun na
Chair.
yung evolution, ano? During the time of Commissioner Kim, hanggang 5 po pwede. So nag-evolve
Kasi po
ito
ang
during...
pagkakasabi po
hindi
ngayon.
ko kami nag-issue ng 5. We're
Nandito
not,
kanina, parang umabot ng 5 eh.
hindi, sabi ko, pwedeng umabot sa 5 ngayon dahil doon ho sa ruling ng Supreme Court. Kasi every quarter nagpa-file kayo ng VAT return. Tapos every quarter nag-i-encode kayo ng summary release of sales and purchases.
So why did you limit it to 2 in a year?
Dahil dyan po rin nag-consolidate semestral. So, twice a year lang po talaga ang VAT. Hindi po tayo nag-i-issue ng
As
4.
maximum 2. lang.
For VAT po, Mr. Chair. Yung sa regular, kasi po ang setup po kasi may regular yung Revenue District Office, sila po yung nag-i-issue ng authorized to issue LOAs for all internal revenue taxes. But meron po tayong na-create, I think, that was during because of the IMF recommendation and nagtayo po ng VAT audit section for regions dahil sinasabi po malaki ang VAT gap natin na kinakailangan ayusin para makakolekta ng VAT because at that time relatively new yung concept ng VAT. Kaya nag-create ng VAT audit section or VAT audit unit na tututok sa particular tax type ng VAT. That's why nag-create ng VAT section. So ang ino-audit po ng VAT audit section ay mga VAT, yung value-added tax types lang po.
Ito na yung BATAS at saka BATAW.
Yan po. So kaya nagkakaroon po ng ibang multiple LOAs pero magkakaiba po ang ino-audit. For Revenue District Office, yung regular, all other internal revenue taxes, kapag ka nag-issue po ang VAT audit section, VAT lang po ang ino-audit niyan. Kaya po yan yung dinidiscuss po na multiple LOAs dahil may all internal tapos meron sa VAT po.
Mr. Chair, may I?
Hindi, just to clarify, kasi pwede naman kung hindi mo matagpuan, ano, like for example, you iniiwasan kayo ni Diskaya, pero dito na-serve mo yung LOA sa kanya.
Kasi may hearing.
May hearing eh.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Nakalagay lang naman po kasi dyan, again, as I've mentioned before, yung mga diskaya po ay hindi po talaga nila tinatanggap. In fact, we also filed the criminal case for violation of subpoena dahil hindi po talaga sila tumatanggap ng mga notices ever since when we started auditing them even last year. Dahil lahat po niyan, hinahabol po natin at nakita po natin na malaki po yung kanilang tax liabilities. That's why we were forced to serve the LOA with the permission of this office.
Mr. Chair, few words, please.
Yes, for the record, I allowed it.
Your request.
Mr. Chair, ang problema ko kasi dito, former Commissioner Lumagi, and this committee, ito pong iba't ibang LOA, may VAT, may tax, iba-ibang tao ho ito eh, Mr. Chair. Ang problema, yung negosyante, bugbog po sa kalalagay. Kasi iba-ibang tao. I-issue ng VAT dito, bukas makalawa, next month, isang VAT na naman, ibang tao na naman. Gaya po nito, nag-email ho sa atin, in a span of 6 months, we were issued 4 separate letters of authority with 3 audits still ongoing. These laws overlap in periods and tax types, causing excessive disruption to our operation. And at the same time daw, Mr. Chair, yung mga bumibisita sa kanila, kailangan pa nilang kasi para bilisan nila yung kanilang pag-audit sa kumpanya na yun dahil nare-disrupt yung kanilang operations, kailangan nilang maglagay ng padulas, Mr. Chair. Ito po yung problema natin, Attorney Lumagi. Yung panahon po ninyo talagang dumami po talaga. Maaring may instruction kayo na 2 lang, inabuso naman po dito sa baba. Kung hindi po LOA mission order, because mission orders pwede lang gawin ng RD at saka RDO without your knowledge. Hindi na po sila kailangan magpaalam sa inyo. Tama po, hindi. Is this correct?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
You see? Doon po naaabuso. Yung ibang tao, ang tingin na po nila, LOA pa rin, pero mission order na ini-issue ng mga RDO, ng mga RDs po ninyo, without your knowledge. Inabuso po nila. Kaya minsan, 4, 5, 6, kayo, instruction nyo, 2 lang. Sige. Pero when they issue MOs, iba pa ho yun eh. Yun ang nagiging problema, naabuso po ng panahon ninyo. Wala po kayong safety net to protect the businesses. Tama naman po, we agree. Kailangan po ng LOA para makakolekt tayo ng taxes. Unfortunately, paano naman po yung proteksyon ng negosyante from extortion? Wala po silang proteksyon. Kayo po doon sa taas niyo alam dito sa middle management po, doon nangyayari yung nakawan, Mr. Attorney Lumagi. And let me direct, Mr. Chair, if you would please, direct my question to Secretary Federico. Secretary, in my research po, we found out na 2% lang po ng taxes collected by the BIR ang na-generate ng LOA. Tama po ba ito? And 98% are voluntary po. 98% taxes collected are voluntary po ng mga businesses. Is this correct, Secretary Go?
Mr. Chair, that is correct. Roughly, it's between 2 to 2+%. Of course, it varies from year to year. So perhaps in 1 year, it could be about 2.5%. In 1 year, it could be 2.6%. And yes, Mr. Chair, that is correct, that roughly 98% of the collections are voluntary.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Meron bang time na umabot tayo ng 3? Kasi ang alam kong standard, diba, 3 to 5%. Yan ang parang internationally accepted standard. Naka-accomplish ba tayo ng 3% man lang?
Mr. Chair, may I?
Yes, please.
During my time, it's more than 3% our collection. And also, maybe just to put things into perspective, ang collection po ng, dahil maliit lang po, actually, ang primary goal po talaga ng enforcement is to keep everyone in check so that if everybody knows that they're being watched, they will voluntarily comply. That's why tumataas po ang voluntary compliance because of this mechanism. And also, again, to put things into perspective, millions po ang business taxpayers. Million po ang business taxpayers, and then more than that, yung mga registered taxpayers, not just the business taxpayers. And ang nai-issuehan po ng LOA ay less than 1% of registered business taxpayers, which result in more than 3% of the total collections. And kung titingnan pa po natin, ang total, ang less than 0.20% ang nai-issuehan ng LOA compared with the total registered taxpayers. Again, less than 0.20% ang nai-issuehan ng LOA. For, again, if you compare it with the registered business taxpayers, it's less than 1%, which again results into more than 3% collection for the goal, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, may I direct my question now to the new commissioner. Commissioner Mendoza, ano ho ang way forward natin dito? Kasi pati po mga small businesses, family-owned eatery, restaurant, family-owned na mga ikang grocery store, pinatos pa rin po. I thought LOAs are only for major corporations, medium enterprises. Family-owned, gas station, eatery, grocery store, family-owned, mula Apari hanggang Davao. Ang dami yung nagrereklamo sa amin, punong-puno na. Kung magtatayo lang ko siguro, 1,000 na rin siguro. I suggest, Secretary Go and yourself, magtayo rin po na isumbong kay Secretary o isumbong kay Commissioner. Mapupuno po yung email niyo. But anyway, pwede bang patigilin ho muna ito? I mean, tinigil lang ho, pero pati mga small businesses, kailangan man tamaan ito? Small veterinary clinic sa Quezon City, tinamaan. Halos lahat po eh. Hindi lang po malalaki, you're saying, Attorney Lumagi, pari yung instruction mo yung mga big businesses talagang to force them. Pero yung mga family-owned businesses, mga small businesses, dapat hindi na po. Ano ho ang take nyo rito, Commissioner Mendoza?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, technically ho, legally, wala naman hong limitation as to which type of taxpayers can be subjected to audit. So, regardless whether malaki ka or maliit, if you are perceived to be committing tax evasion or you are not paying the correct taxes, pwede ka po talagang ma-audit. But of course, there has to be prioritization in the conduct of audits, especially considering that we have limited manpower. Moving forward, Mr. Chair, first is there has to be check and balance in the issuance of letters of authority and mission orders. Right now po, when it comes to the issuance of letters of authority by the regional directors, meron po silang absolute authority to issue letters of authority, and hindi na po ito umaakyat sa commissioner for approval or prior clearance. So that is one area that we are looking at. Before the regional directors can issue letters of authority, they would have to clear it first with the deputy commissioner or with the commissioner. Kailangan po mag-submit sila ng justification kung bakit mag-i-issue sila ng letter of authority or why this particular taxpayer should be subjected to audit.
Mr. Chairman, kahit na authorized or hindi authorized, may mga hindi authorized eh, di ba? Okay.
Yeah.
Don't you have an investigative arm?
Meron po.
To investigate not the taxpayers, the RDs.
Tama.
Yeah, meron po tayong internal affairs service. It's a unit within the BIR.
Sa katerbang complaint. Di ba? So, what has happened to these persons who have been subject of complaints?
Yeah, meron po tayong internal affairs service that conducts investigation of erring BIR personnel. Ongoing naman po ang investigation nila against BIR personnel that we are complaining for having allegedly committed malfeasance or misfeasance. Moving forward po, dagdag lang. Another, kasi I have this, tell the commissioner at bir.gov.ph, I created this less than 2 weeks ago, where they can directly send their complaints and concerns and even suggestions in the conduct of audit. And I have received several emails, more than 100 over in less than 2 weeks. So that is one common concern po. One common concern, and it has been mentioned already, is that they receive multiple letters of authority for a particular taxable year. Again po, legally, if it covers, the audit should cover a particular tax type for a particular taxable year. Yun lang naman po ang limitation. And of course, subject to the prescriptive period. You can only audit 3 years. Within 3 years from the time the return is filed or from the time the return was actually filed, unless there is fraud, in which case we have a longer prescriptive period of 10 years counted from the time of the discovery of the fraud. Several concerns that we raised before is that na-audit na raw po for this particular taxable year, and then may panibago na namang LOA covering the same taxable year and purportedly, apparently covering the same tax type. Pwede pong mangyari ito kung ang subject ng second audit, kung ang ground ng second audit is fraud. In which case, we have a longer prescriptive period, and the prescriptive period runs from the time of the discovery of the fraud. But generally po, a particular LOA should only consider a particular tax type for a particular taxable period. Nangyayari po na nagkakameron ng maraming letters of authority kasi nga po, na-mention ni former Commissioner Jun Lumagi, meron tayong VATAS, VAT audit section that conducts audits once every semester. So sa isang taon ho, may 2 letters of authority na sila natatanggap. The creation of VATAS is actually a recommendation of the IMF many years ago dahil nakita po nila na meron nga tayong gap sa collection of taxes. Apparently, hindi tayo ganun ka-efficient. So ang sabi ng IMF, why don't you create a special unit that will conduct only an audit of VATAS? Kaya ho nagkameron of VAT. Kaya ho nagkameron tayo ng VATAS. Ang reklamo lang ho ng mga taxpayers nga, and we are looking into this, is per semester, nakatanggap ka ng LOA for the first semester, may second semester ka na naman ng LOA, and they are not given enough time to reform. Hopefully, ang pakiusap nga nila, may mga natututunan sila dun sa previous audits, and they will be given enough time to incorporate this for the succeeding period para hindi na ho sila mo audit. So we're looking at the possibility of totally abolishing the VATAS and have its functions integrated into the regular units like the large taxpayer service. Meron din ho naman silang VAT unit or the regional directors. So instead of the regional directors doing audit only for other types of taxes except VAT, pwede ho nating tanggalin na natin yung VATAS at yung regional directors na ho ay mag-conduct ng audit covering all types of taxes including VAT. May mga nagsasabi po na mas makakabuti ito kasi nga, una, isa na lang ang haharapin nila sa Bureau of Internal Revenue. And secondly, even if these laws cover different types of taxes, interconnected po yung mga dokumento. Kung ano yung voluminous documents na sinubject mo for that particular law covering this type of tax, isasubmit mo uli yun dito kasi konektado ho yun eh. Hindi naman magkakaibang dokumento ang isasubmit mo dahil lamang iba yung tax type na ino-audit. So that is another area po. We intend to revisit whether we will continue having the VATAS or simply abolish this and have this integrated into the regular units. And then another one is abolishing the special task forces and have their functions integrated also into the function of the regular unit so that in a particular taxable year, ideally they should also only be receiving 1 letter of authority for a particular taxable year. And then number 3 po is the monitoring. That is why I have directed the creation of a portal where I can monitor near time the status of all pending letters of authority. Right after I issue the order directing the suspension of all field audits, my succeeding order is to submit an inventory of all the status of all pending letters of authority. So nagsasabit po ang mga offices natin ngayon and I have directed the creation of a portal. Well, I can track ano na po ba ang nangyari sa particular LOA na ito, nasa ang stage na ba siya, magkano ba ang actual na nasingil. Because it produces the CCTV effect. If the people on the ground knows that the commissioner or the central office is meticulously monitoring the implementation of LOA, mas naiiwasan po yung abuse of discretion sa pagkakandak ng audit. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Senator JB. The Chair acknowledges the presence of Senator Bam Aquino. Good morning, sir. Senator JB, by the way, for your information, there are regional directors and RDOs present. Ano? So yung mga narrations kanina, kung meron kang specific questions na you want to address to these people, they are here in the session hall. Senator JB?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, I'd like to thank our newly installed DOF Secretary and BIR Commissioner for suspending the issuance of LOAs. No? My question to the new BIR Commissioner, now that bago lang po kayo ngayon, pero ano po yung safeguards that you are looking at and reforms that you want to institute so that itong LOA will not be weaponized anymore for extortion and abuse.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Yun nga po, after we have issued the directive suspending the issuance of letters of authority and mission orders and the conduct of and the continuation of pending field audits, we have directed the creation of a technical working group composed of senior officials of the Bureau of Internal Revenue to look at the existing processes and protocols and come up with more streamlined, predictable, and transparent system for the conduct of field audits. We have also directed directed all units, concerned units of the Bureau of Internal Revenue to submit an inventory of all pending letters of authority. So we will know where exactly these letters of authority are now and what their respective status are. As I have mentioned po a while ago, one area of reform that we are looking at is there has to be check and balance in the issuance of letters of authority. Yun nga po, right now, the regional directors have the absolute discretion to issue letters of authority. Absolute discretion in the sense that it is no longer subject to the approval of the commissioner. So moving forward, what I intend to do is before they can recommend the issuance of a letter of authority, but has to be cleared first by the office of the commissioner or by the deputy commissioner. They should provide justification on why they want to audit this particular taxpayer, what are the initial findings, and what is the basis legally and factually for the issuance of the letter of authority. And secondly, to as much as possible, limit the number of letters of authority that are being received by our taxpayers. Not that we will no longer audit them for this particular type of tax, but to integrate it with the regular units of the Bureau of Internal Revenue. So kaya nga po, ngayon po kasi marami silang natatanggap na letters of authority because marami po tayong units na nakakapag-issue ng letters of authority. May VATAS tayo, meron pa tayong regional offices that can issue all other internal revenue taxes. Meron tayong special task forces that can conduct audit when there is fraud. Meron pa tayong National Investigation Division or the Regional Investigation Division that can also conduct audit when there is fraud. So we will streamline this point as much as possible, limit the number of letters of authority that a particular taxpayer can, will be audited on. And then number 3 po is, yun nga po, I have directed the creation of a portal and we're working on it now where I can monitor near time the status of all ongoing letters of authority. Actually, meron tayong sistema, yung ELAMs, where they're supposed to update the status of their letters of authority. But hindi ho masyadong updated yon. Kaya nagpa-submit tayo ng inventory sa lahat ng ating mga revenue district offices and regional directors and the units in the central office to submit an inventory of their pending audits.
Yeah. Attorney Kim, this is related to the question.
Yeah, to his answer.
Yes, please. With the permission of Senator JB, Attorney Kim.
Yeah, the ELAM system, and which was converted into because there's a computerization going on, you cannot issue a letter of authority if you don't go into that system. Eh? There's an accountable form. It's even pre-numbered. So if you cannot see it in the ELAM, then that letter of authority is void. Because it's on yan sa LAM system, yung monitoring. Kasi yan yung nag-i-issue ng letter of authority. Ngayon, kung hindi mo makita dyan sa system na yan, ibig sabihin, hindi tunay yung letter of authority na yan. So, mali yun. What inventory? It's there. If it's not there, then it's void. Because
If it's not there, then it's not there.
It's because it's
Wala, hindi valid, hindi valid.
yeah, because it's how you generate the letter of
So
authority.
how do you check that?
I
Madali lang,
mean,
di ba?
It's if this is the system and it's a parang certificate eh. In fact, naka-accountable form yan, may number yan eh. Nakamatch yan dun sa pag-issue ng letter of authority. Now, my suggestion rin about the small business, you know, the tax code said if you have business that generate 3 million and below, you can go under the 8% taxation. Wala nang VAT, wala nang any other taxes except yung withholding, no? Kasi yung mga tax ng empleyado. I think the BIR and DOF should have a campaign for the small businesses that if you're 3 million and below, you just pay the 8%. Then there's no more VAT. It's all inclusive na ho yung 8% na yan. It's in the National Internal Revenue.
Iba pa to doon sa 60%, yung 40%?
Yan yung optional standard
Optional.
deduction is available to everyone. No? The optional standard deduction is available to everyone. You can take a 40%. No itemization, you can take a 40% at once. But if you do an output and input, you still have to file and pay, and you will still be audited. You can be not audited only if you have an optional standard deduction and you pay the full VAT without any input VAT. Then you should be the last priority. Diba? Kasi binabayaran nyo sa income nyo bawat centavos yung tax nyo at saka yung 12% VAT. No? So, yun, I think the thing there is you have to have an audit program because whatever you put in the computer, AI na ngayon eh. So, kung magre-request ka, yun lahat na data naman nasa BIR eh. So, magre-request ka, kung talagang you have true digitalization, pag nag-request ka, yung sistema na ngayon ang magtatanong. Ito yung parameter ng pwede nyong i-audit. So, itong mga data ng taxpayer, mag-fit ba siya doon? Kung mag-fit siya, na pwede mong i-audit, saka siya mag-i-issue ng letter of authority. So, pwede naman yan gawin. Saka my other comment about BATA, the reason why assessment is so, if you look at the assessment issued by the BIR, yung sa preliminary assessment, saka final assessment, you'll notice, it's cut and paste. The taxpayer, after they protest, di ba, may preliminary assessment notice kayo, yung taxpayer nagpro-protest, hindi ine-evaluate ng BIR eh. Pag tinignan mo yung final assessment notice, eksakto kung ano yung nasa preliminary assessment notice, yan yung lumalabas sa final assessment notice. Bakit? Kasi yung assessment division na dapat nag-evaluate ng mga preliminary assessment at final assessment notice, ngayon, nag-audit na rin sila. So dapat nun, tanggalin yung audit function ng nagre-review ng audit para matutukan nila yung audit na ginagawa ng mga examiner. Yun yung problema ngayon ng BIR.
Thank you. Back to Senator JB.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Siguro nakarating naman dun po sa ating pong mga BIR Commissioner, ito pong scheme, no, that Senator Tulfo and I enumerated, o yung pong, halimbawa po sa 1 million na assessment, 200,000 lang po yung nagiging resibo. Minsan 300,000, minsan 200,000. So talagang 70% yung nadadakma, 30% lang mapasok. So how can the bureau now?
Senator JB, anong area yan? Para tanungin natin yung RDO na nandito, kung sakop niya yung area. Yung particular case na binanggit mo kanina.
Sandali po. Sa Bulacan po ata, Mr. Chair. Probably
Nandito ba yung Bulacan?
Opo.
Regional Director or RDO? Anong part ng Bulacan yan? Meron bang Bulacan dito? Wala. Anyway, sige. Please continue, Senator JB.
Ayun lang po.
May Bulacan ba rito? Bulacan na naman.
With regard to the
SID, Kamanaba and Bulacan eh. Oh.
magandang hapon po, sir. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat po. Actually ho, with regard to RR5, it composed of Caloocan, Malabon, Nabotas, and Bulacan area po. With regard po to sa amin, ang covered lang po namin, sir, is the value-added tax po. Opo. Opo. So with regard to Bulacan area is I think 25B po or 25B, which is covered by different RDOs po.
Dr. JB, mostly NCR pala itong nandito. Kasi I believe there are 6 regional directors sa NCR, di ba? So, if you may direct your question, kung meron kang case dyan na NCR, ang area.
Meron po dito, Mr. Chair, yung tungkol sa Manila. Assessment po sa 13 million, pero yung gross sales niya po 12 million lang. So, parang mas malaki pa yung assessment doon po sa gross sales ng negosyo. Paano po nangyari yun? Sa Manila po, Mr. Chair.
Kindly identify yourself muna.
I am RDO Trinidad Villamil. I am from Revenue District number 33, Intramuros. Sir, Manila region has 5 other districts. So I am speaking in behalf of my district, but in our district, it's always been my directive to my revenuers, to the examiners, that they have to conduct their audit fairly and accurately, because as our top management have said a while ago, the letter of authority is giving us the right to investigate, to verify whether our taxpayers are paying the correct taxes or they have paid the right amount of taxes. So with regards to that scheme, I do not tolerate or I deny that, but that is subject to verification, sir. But definitely, we do not. It is against our policy, and I always tell my people, they have to conduct their audit fairly. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Attorney Kim. Senator JB, may mag-interject lang si Attorney
Okay,
Kim.
go ahead po. Go ahead.
Yeah, it can be because of the surcharge and interest. That's why it became so big. No? Depende kung may fraud, saka kung gaano katagal na yung assessment na yan, no, na hindi pinabayaran. We're going to the point of how to check whether may kalokohan nangyayari. Siguro pwede niyong i-monitor ano ba yung PAN na amount. Kung yan, 10 million yung PAN in preliminary assessment. Tapos 5 million, tapos sa final assessment, 10 million ulit. Tapos pumunta kayo sa 0605, ang binayaran, 10,000. That's already a red flag. May nangyayari dito. Kasi 10 million, tapos naging 10,000, 100,000. Bakit ganon? So, yun ho yun maaring, yan yung kaso na may nangyari. No? So, kaya importante ho yung pag-monitor. Ano ba yung in-assess mo sa preliminary assessment notice? Ano in-assess mo sa final assessment notice? Magkano ba yung binayaran? Kasi pag dramatically different, then there must be something going on. And then the other point, sir, that's precisely my point when I issued the audit program, that you cannot audit a taxpayer 3 consecutive years. Because only, like Commissioner Lumagi said, only 0.2% of taxpayers are being audited. So why are you repeating the same? You should have gone to other taxpayers who have not been audited, since you have a big sample or big population where you can choose other, because you want to push compliance, so you're checking on them. The question there is, why are you always repeating the same taxpayer? Especially if you keep on repeating and the amount you're collecting is not significant. So that also point to a fact na may nangyayari. No? So that's why the monitoring of the letter of authority and the results are important. And that's basically what I just wanted to point out. And I think not all recommendation of IMF should be accepted by the BIR, because we are in a different situation, no? Like the BATAG, I think we should not have put it up in the first place. What we should have reformed is do a non-contact audit and correct the Supreme Court decision to allow non-contact audit to taxpayer.
Yes, Senator JB.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, meron din po sa Mandaluyong, if ever nandyan po sana yung taga-RDO, meron kaming kopya rito ng exchange of messages between yung RD ng Mandaluyong tsaka yung taxpayer.
Andito ba yung RD ng Mandaluyong?
Pwede mo palagay?
Lahat naman ang hinahanap natin, wala dito. Ito, RDO 41, Mandaluyong. RDO 41. Ito specific, RDO 41, Mandaluyong. Lowa extortion. Asking for 1 million. Asking was 1 million pesos.
Para hindi na daw umabot ng Court of Tax Appeal sa Mr. Chair. So parang yan yung nagtatawaran sila sa text message. Baka pwede rin
In
mapaliwanag.
the next hearing, we'll invite
Sige po.
RDO 41, Mandaluyong. Secretariat, kindly take note. Yes, Attorney Kim.
Is it the RDO or the examiner? So you
RDO
have-
nakalagay. RDO 41, Mandaluyong.
No, because it's called Revenue District Office 41.
Yeah, but we have to identify that
Who
that guy.
is the one who's asking for the 1 million, because
Yeah,
it's not the RD. It might not be the RDO.
but
It
we might be
the
able to identify that examiner through the
Yes.
RDO.
Yeah.
That's why we need to invite.
Group supervisor nilang mga examiner.
I think examiner po ito, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, I know, but under RDO 41. di ba?
RDO. Apo, tama.
Yeah. Kasi hindi natin din alam kung sino examiner unless identified natin yung examiner, then probably. Yeah. Is there any more, Senator Jay?
Mr. Chairman, Katik, di alam kung sino.
And I,
We will submit to the committee, Mr. Chair. Dito po, identified po actually.
go ahead, Senator JB. Please proceed. Please continue.
Yun na po, Mr. Chair, I will just listen to the other, as we go along, I'll ask questions later.
Yeah. Senator JB, Senator Bam Aquino is recognized. Teddy ka muna.
RDO 44, Taguig, are you here?
Yes, sir. Good morning
All right. May we know the status of the case filed against your employees recently arrested for asking 600,000 in exchange for a lower tax assessment? Ito po ba ay isolated o ito po ang kalakaran natin? Ano po
first-
nangyari sa kanila? Na-entrap
first
po
of-
ito ng NBI. Naglakas loob po yung kumpanya na magsumbong.
First of all, good morning po, Mr. Chair, and thank you for inviting me and to the honorable members of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. In September po, I was still assigned in Malabon. I only reported for duty yesterday in Taguig, so I really do not have any personal knowledge of what happened. I only heard about it in the news.
Who was the RDO back then?
Si Attorney Deo Villar po,
Nasaan po si Attorney Villar?
na nalipat po siya sa Pampanga.
Nasa Pampanga na ngayon.
Opo.
Alright. Kasi ang problema ho natin dito, yung inyong RDO District Office, inassess nitong dalawang kulokoy na ito, yung kumpanya ng 36 million. Nagkaroon ng tawaran na reduce sa 6 million. And finally, 800,000. Tapos, ang bibigyan lang ng official receipt ay 200,000 lang. Paano po ito nangyari? Kaya nga po ito yung sinasabi na useless itong LOA. Kasi pwede palang tawaran, di po ba? From 6 million, 36, bumaba ng 6. Doon pala kagad, lugi na ang gobyerno. Tapos 800,000 na lang. 200,000 lang ay i-resibo, sa kanya na yung 600,000. Talo yung gobyerno ho rito eh. Kaya nga, Mr. Commissioner, we really have to study this, sir. Itong LOA na ito, itong mga mission order, kasi hindi po nagagawa ang trabaho nito. Ginagawa lang po itong gatasan ng mga empleyado. Let's move on. Quezon City, are you here?
Ano, related lang, follow-up lang. Saang level ng authority yung may discretion to resolve kung ano yung pag-uusapan? Sino finally magre-resolve? Alam mo, may LOA. Nasa RDO, pwede na siyang on his own discretion. Sabihin niya, hindi, okay na yan. Commissioner?
Yeah, actually, the letter of authority is issued by the regional director in the regions, but it is implemented by the revenue district offices.
Yes, but
Pero
sino yung
examiner
finally na
na
magsasabing pwede yung sinesettle na yan? Sino magre-resolve?
The RDO.
Examiner?
The revenue district officer, Mr. Chair.
Revenue District Officer. So yung examiner, wala sa authority niya yung siya mag-decide na pwede na yan.
The approval is with the revenue.
Approval, yeah.